This episode is sponsored by Children's Hospice Southwest and our 2026 Rainbow Run. Looking for something fun, meaningful, and just a little bit messy? Then the Rainbow Run is for you. Picture this: running, walking, or dancing your way through a course bursting with colour, laughter, and pure joy, all while raising money for children and families who need it most. Whether you're taking part with friends, family, or flying solo, every step you take helps Children's Hospice Southwest continue their amazing work supporting local children with life-limiting conditions. No pressure on speed, no pressure on time, just good vibes, big smiles, and a whole lot of colour. So what are you waiting for? Grab your white t-shirt, sign up, and let's make a difference, one colourful step at a time. Join us at RAF St Mawgan on the 20th of June. Search Children's Hospice Southwest Rainbow Run and get involved today.
What's the worst that can happen?
On today's episode of What's the Worst That Could Happen, this one's got a bit of everything. We're joined by Rhiannon Llewellyn from Llewellyn Estate Agents, someone who's not just built a business, but built it the hard way, through difficult life challenges, graft, and a proper commitment to doing things differently. Because let's be honest, estate agents don't always have the best reputation, but what Rhiannon, Sophie, Charlotte, and their team have done is flip that on its head. They've created something that actually puts people first, proper relationships, real values, and a level of care you don't always see in that industry. And it hasn't been plain sailing. We get into the personal side of things as well, the challenges she's faced, what it's taken to keep going, and how those moments have shaped not just her, but the business as a whole. It's one of those conversations where you realise there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you would ever expect.
Welcome back to What's the Worst That Could Happen Property Podcast. I'm Charlotte, I'm here with Dave, and we're interviewing Rhiannon today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No worries. Thanks for coming in at short notice.
No worries.
It was very short notice. You must have been busy.
I'm very busy.
Reason to
I was
get
doing
out.
spreadsheets. I was like, yes, I'm out of here.
Oh my God, yeah. Anything to get away from that then. Jesus, I hate a spreadsheet. I can't even use Excel. I'm shit at it.
Oh, I love a spreadsheet, but it's just first thing after Easter bank holiday weekend is it's like, oh God.
Yeah, that's not a bit of me.
Was it
Not
updating one or creating one?
No, it was updating because obviously new financial year and
Yeah.
people want pay rises and stuff like that. So we've got to calculate what we can and can't afford.
So you
Oh,
got
they'll have to
crack the
wait.
whip.
Yeah.
They have to wait a bit.
You co-founded Llewellyn in 2022. Is that right?
Yes.
Good old ChatGPT. What was the moment you realised you wanted to build your own agency?
Oh, long before 2022. I think when you are in any kind of business, you either have a mindset for, I'm happy to work for people and be told what to do for the rest of my life, or you have a mindset of, I can't wait to find something to build and run ourselves. So it had always been in my mind from starting in agency, and I haven't been in agency that long. But then an opportunity presented itself for a management buyout, and we just ran with it and hoped it would work out, and it did.
Oh.
Certainly seems like it's working out.
Yeah, we built a great team in the last 3 years and expanded over Cornwall. So it's gone quicker, bigger and faster than we planned back in 2022 for sure.
Yeah, I can tell that. Like when I come into the office, everyone's so friendly, welcoming, everyone's so lovely.
Yeah, that office as well has boosted the atmosphere. I didn't really realise how an environment has an effect on staff.
Yeah.
So when we went there, it's warmer, lighter, brighter, much better environment to the staff. They were happy anyway, but they're happier now.
Were you saying it's grown faster than you anticipated? Have you sort of like then settled, or each time have you like felt more ambitious when you've seen that there's more potential?
I'm definitely ambitious, but we have to sort of take everything on a view. So when opportunities have come across, you kind of don't want to say no, but you do have to assess the risk factor and the overall impact on the team and the business. But we've moved from 300 properties to 1,100 properties in 3 years and grown the staff from 13 to 30 of us now. That's the scary bit, not
That's
the properties,
incredible.
it's the staff.
Good, yeah. Absolutely smashing it, though.
That is incredible in 3 years
Yeah.
as well. And obviously that's on the back of COVID, so the property market has changed considerably and is always, well, it's changing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've seen a few
Yeah, so
hurdles.
COVID was a total reset. So things that we predicted were going to happen before COVID then didn't happen. And I think we're getting to what we predicted would happen pre-COVID. And obviously the sales housing market is so volatile with the war and everything now.
Yeah.
We got off to a really good start because it was slow last year with the budget, government and everything like that. And then January, people putting offers, things were selling, and January's usually quiet, but it got off to a really good start. And now with the Iran war and the mortgage rates going back up because they were tracking down. So it's going to be an unsettled period again. And then in the letting side, we've got major legislation coming. Well, it's already in, but it comes into force from the 1st of May. So that's us writing our whole processes and everything that we've learnt for the last 12 years for me, and everyone in the agency that's been in it for 30 years has to basically forget everything that we've learnt and done to wait for this new legislation, which isn't in black and white yet, and it comes in on the
really?
1st of May.
And you have to be acting on that straight
So
away.
yeah, so we're just rewriting all our processes, terms, and then trying to train the staff ready for the new legislation. But government haven't issued it all yet, so it's in a rounded form at the minute.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Is a little bit. We were talking about that this morning. It's just we need all the actual legislation firmed up in writing so then we can transpose it into our processes, because it's not just signing a piece of paper for a tenant anymore. And everything that we do, we have to document in a certain way, but there's certain timescales, which is still grey area on some of it at the minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, I had someone ask me about it this morning. I was like, I'm not the guy to speak to. But check out this great podcast. So, yeah, hopefully they're going to listen to this one and get a little bit of information anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you're very good at personal relationships. Well, in fact, you all are. You, Sophie, and Charlotte as well. I think a lot of people relate to you. You're very down to earth. That's one of the things I said to Charlotte before you came in here. How do you build on those personal relationships? How do you keep it so personal?
It's quite difficult to well, it's easy to get stuck in your spreadsheets and stuck in an office, and in property it is people. We're dealing with all spectrums of people, so we've got to keep out there, and people forget that there's humans at the other end of the phone as well. So, moving house, whether you're buying or renting, whether you're selling or letting out your property, it's very stressful for all parties, and being in the middle, we get a lot of the brunt of it. So we're trying to ensure that people understand that our staff and us are humans at the end of the day, and we do our very best, and we are stuck in the middle between solicitors, landlords, tenants, legislation,
All the fun stuff.
and we're there to try and make the path as smooth as possible. But it's just as frustrating for us sometimes when we can't make those things happen, or we lose control to third parties. So it's keeping that personal touch. I mean, it's very difficult in this day and age. But we try to make sure the staff have time for not just sending emails and doing the back office stuff, but speaking to clients and having the time for that, because people can get weighed down in all the day-to-day stuff and then not realise that. And it's the same with the staff. They're there to do a job, but they have to realise that it's a stressful situation.
Yeah.
The other parties as well.
It's people's lives, isn't it? You're waiting to move house. You've got this great anticipation of being in there, and it might be a certain date you really want to be settled, and all that timeline and chains can be really stressful for them.
Chains are a nightmare. The whole sales system, to be fair, in the UK, it really does need a kick up the backside, because you can pull out the day before exchange. You can go 6-7 months down the line. As an estate agent, our staff work for free until that property goes over the line. So we can be working 6-7 months, and then that chain falls through. They decide to pull it off the market, and I've paid
Staff to work on it.
staff to work
Yeah.
on it and paid out for various, the Rightmove portals. Rightmove just been taken to court at the minute about their fees. But all the costs go in advance, and if the sale doesn't go through, then we don't get paid and the staff don't get paid.
Total waste of
Yeah.
time.
And then somebody doesn't move into their property. If you've got kids in school and they're on the waiting
Yeah.
list and they've been accepted because you're moving into that catchment area and then the house sale falls through,
Yeah.
you can go buy another house, but then you're resetting and it's another 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line, and it really doesn't need to be like that. And it's got worse over the years. Solicitors don't want the liability. The solicitor used to be able to take a view on things. We'll take a view, we'll put an indemnity in, and let's just get on with it.
Yeah.
But now they've got insurance pressures that they can't just do that anymore. They have to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So
Lovely.
it just takes
A long
so
time.
much longer.
Yeah.
I've known people in chains before where it's going to lose a whole chain, so they've bought the house that was going to not sell. Like, just go, we'll buy it to keep the chain together. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you do have to imagine
People at the top buying the bottom of the chain sort of
Yeah.
thing, because they've got that investment that they can, and then they'll sell it later.
Well, Sophie's just bought a new build and part exchanged her house because she's got young children. We're running a busy business. She said, I don't want to be in a chain and it falls through and the kids are unsettled. So part exchange through a new development was the way to go for her, and I could see the sense.
Security, isn't it?
You just know that it's
Hmm.
going to happen, but with house sales, it doesn't really work like that, unfortunately.
We actually were going to ask you about the corporate challenges of the property industry and how you actually make it feel more personal and break that down a little bit. And you said about having time to actually call.
Yeah, so on the
Homeowners.
sales side, we've got a very small team on that. We don't try to stretch ourselves on the sales. Our specialist is lettings, and we don't pretend to be, we can't compete with the Heather and Lays and the Kimberleys and the established businesses. We tend to target more landlords that want to sell a property with tenants in situ, because we can manage the tenancy and the paperwork and we know what we're looking for. So we have a small specialist team that deal with those sales. We do normal residentials, but we don't take on more than we can manage. Our tenancy manager team for the lettings team are all supported by admin assistants, so they can be on the phones while there's somebody doing the background work and helping them get that through, so that they've got more time to speak to landlords. And we have 2 ladies that are sort of call setters and phone, and they just call in on the phones all the time, so they're there to sort of check in with landlords, make sure there's no issues, check on staff performance, see if there's any change of circumstances, make sure they're getting replied to when they should, and everything like that. So we're constantly evolving.
And they're going to be busy with the new processes and
Yes.
facilitating all of that information.
Yeah.
So you've done a few property viewings before. What's the most unusual or memorable property viewing that you've
Don't
ever
know
had?
if some of them I can say on air.
Oh, that's all right. It's a safe space.
You've heard some of the things Dave
I know, I did listen to yours on the way up. So, there were... I did a walk around with a landlord to show him some of their properties, and we walked down into the garden and I thought, what's that on the floor? And it was a female sex toy. So I stood on it.
Oh my God.
So that the landlord
stick to your
didn't see
feet,
it.
did
No,
it?
no, it was like, I was like, oh God, I know what that is. I'm going to stand on that. And then we walked past and distracted them, and then off we went. And we were having coffee 5 years later, and he's like, I did see what we stood on in that garden that time.
Was it just a little one?
Oh no. I don't know
Really?
why it was in the garden. I have no idea. It was a student house, so let's put it
Anything can
down to
happen.
that.
Christ. I'm just picturing some massive, big fucking dong thing now.
You have to look at the
I
size
was
of
just like,
Rhiannon's feet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't forget that one in a hurry.
There's lots of. We've got 250 student houses, so you can imagine all the stuff that we find in them when they clear out at the end, or what we find in them when we're doing inspections. It's they don't always get out of bed, and they don't always stop their activities, even though that they know there's a viewing or an inspection.
Nice.
I was thinking maybe we're going down like the drugs route there, but
No, to be fair, I don't know if all our students are angels, but we, touch wood, don't seem to have a massive
That's
drugs
good.
problem. that I'm aware of. I haven't been invited to any parties or anything like that. So
Yeah. Not yet.
yeah.
Just the extracurricular.
I'm sure it goes
PE.
on, but yeah, it's not been a major issue in any of the ones that we manage that I'm aware of anyway.
They
Good.
must be good at hiding secrets then.
Yeah.
Just not their toys.
You just want the
not
toys.
very good at that. There's only so much you can hide, isn't there?
We did have someone that wrote in fluorescent paint, so we couldn't see it in the daylight. But when the landlord moved back into the property and turned the outside lights on in the dark, it glowed up. Fuck you.
Genius. That is fucking brilliant.
10 out of 10 for that.
Yeah.
Because the deposit had been already done and
They were leaving. They didn't want to
That's
leave.
incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just got a picture from the landlord in the middle, late in the evening going, "Did you notice this?" And I was like, "Oh no."
I would have been pissing myself. Right.
That's better than turning your font white when you want to tell someone to politely
Yeah.
piss off at the bottom of an email.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was probably 10 out of 10 to those tenants.
Yeah, that's good going.
Yeah.
Well, I saw one in Penzance and they'd done black swastikas all over the wall. So a decorator in there, he was going over it with white paint and he'd probably, I think it was like 5 or 6 coats. And I was like, mate, I can still see that. You need a few more than that. It was horrendous.
It was painted on the wall.
Yeah, painted on.
Could have just gone much darker colour than white. I mean, I'm not an interior designer or anything, but
No, exactly.
Would have needed a good primer over that, I think.
get the scissor out.
Not everyone's an interior designer.
Lots of featured walls coming in that house.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Or maybe their previous tenant was an interior designer and just like the Nazi symbol.
maybe.
Maybe, who knows?
I suppose you can't critique the design so much, can you? It's more function and
Yeah, but just try and keep everything white.
Yeah.
Get rid of the magnolia,
yeah.
white walls, and then you don't. The problem is, like, tenants try to touch up at the end, or I've touched it up, and I gone in and gone, "Oh, I wish you hadn't," because
That's worse.
you've used white paint and those are magnolia walls, or and paint fades over time, even if there's like a paint pot under the stairs, isn't it? So you go around and touch it, and all there is
Yeah.
Marks.
dot to dot of
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? Or when they use like gloss on a matte wall.
yeah. Or you walk in and there's a chest of drawers in the middle of the room, really where it shouldn't be, and you move it and there's like a iron burn or a hair straightener's burn on the carpet.
Obvious.
A little bit obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, at least hide it up.
Better effort than the
Yeah,
toys.
at least see it in the dark.
And we did have someone, the skills on this person, a chest of drawers, and I pulled the chest of top one open to make sure there wasn't anything in it, and the whole thing collapsed like flat pack. So how they all stacked it together, I don't know, but I just pulled, the front came off and it went and
Oh.
Oh, shit.
wow.
Oh, God. So is that one of the biggest challenges then in your market? Dealing with previous tenants or?
I think it's got so much better over the years. We give so much information. People think that we want to steal the deposit. We don't get any money for deposits. And we don't want to deal with sorting out the deposits, going through dispute, getting all the quotes. So we give, right, this is what your property looked like when it went in. These are the numbers for cleaners, window cleaners, painters, decorators, to get your property back to, obviously there's wear and tear and stuff like that, but cleanliness is not wear and tear.
No.
The children have scribbled all over the walls with pens. That's not wear and tear, and get the paint pot out and the roller and cover it up. But people don't, and then they get offended then that the landlord wants to claim back the monies. But we do work, the tenancy managers team want that property to come back and go, yes, have your deposit back, because pressing the button going release makes the properties manager's job so much easier than a report coming back with 20 items listed that they've then got to go and get quotes, and delays the property being relet and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
it's just more work, isn't it?
it's just more work that
Yeah.
the tenancy
No one
managers
wants that.
don't want. So
No.
And that deposit money probably doesn't even cover the
no.
redecorating or new
Mo-
carpets.
most of the time, it's very rare now that we have to do carpet replacements. What do we get? We probably get about 2 or 3 out of 1,000 properties a year that
That's
are
good.
bad.
Yeah,
So I'll
it's not bad, is
touch
it?
wood on that. Colleagues up country, though, in cities and stuff, seem to get it a lot worse than.
I bet it's horrendous up there.
Yeah, some of.
I bet there's loads of drug problems up there
Yeah,
and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, like weed places, and they've just ripped the inside apart and stuff like that.
Oh
So
my God.
it's been a long while since we've had one of our properties down here.
It's not really something you see in Falmouth or
No.
Cornwall,
We're a
really,
bit
is
out
it?
on a limb, aren't we? You've got to be really choosing to come to the university specifically
Yeah.
for, it's not party lifestyle. I know there is a night scene, I sound really cool, in Falmouth, but it's not like being in Leeds or
No.
anywhere in London, Sheffield,
No,
Manchester.
exactly.
So, yeah, you've got to be choosing to come most likely for what the university is going to offer you in terms of course, isn't it? And that gives you an extra commitment, and you're out on a limb. So
Yeah.
you're out
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere down here.
In a whole, our properties come back pretty good. Like I said, the team worked, and they will work with the tenant. Just the tenant doesn't always want to work with us, because there is a cost when I've got large dogs, and when I did rent, you could just see like a tide line where the dogs walked around the one. I was like, do you know what? I'm not happy with this. So we just got in a decorator, just like, can you just come and whitewash the walls? You take a property off someone and it's their biggest asset, but it's been your home. And when I walk out and give the keys back, you don't want anyone saying, well, especially as a letting agent, well, the state property was in.
Yeah, it's not a good ad for
I
that, is
cleaned
it?
it, then paid a cleaner to come in after me. But yeah, and we just whitewashed all the walls because it just got a bit, we had 5 kids in it at the time and 3 dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
Just want to hand it
But you
back.
have to do it, don't you?
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Do you find with the market here that you see landlords wanting to put their house on like the holiday market rather? Do you see much of that now? And it was a big thing around
It was
COVID
massive during
times.
COVID, but we didn't see a lot of. I know people talked about it, but the main people I saw putting their properties on the market, and friends of mine, literally bought a caravan, moved into a caravan, and let their house out during COVID for that boom to make a bit of money. And
Yeah.
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, too right.
There might have been other people that put them, but we didn't lose a lot from the residential market. I know people were saying, "Oh, we can't rent anything because of because everything's gone holiday let." It wasn't the truth for us. We struggled because people wanted to come down from out of county because they could rent a house down here for 800 quid, where that was in London. It was probably £3,000-4,000 a month.
Yeah.
So they wanted to be down here by the seaside because you could work for it from anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. That's what it highlighted, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
COVID.
But 12 months later, they realised that there's no nightlife down here. You can't get an NHS doctor. You can't get an NHS dentist. The shop's shut at 5 o'clock. It's not like London where the streets are open till 8, 9 o'clock at night and there's fun places to go.
Yeah. It works for some people. Others just people like that sort of busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
But really, Cornwall is a lot more chilled than most other places.
And
that's not saying we all
and the
put our
sun
feet
doesn't
up.
shine as much as the postcards make out.
No, not at all. It's not often you see that picture on postcard, is it?
Although
Fucking
today
hell.
it did feel warm when I stepped out the house this morning. I was like, the air just felt warm.
Arms around.
Yeah.
Well, I felt warm, then I jumped in an ice bath, and then I was freezing my tits off. Got to go home later and try and find my penis.
I did look at the sea yesterday and think, oh, it's about time to get in it. And then I'm thinking, oh, I'll maybe give it a week or 2 more yet.
Like one more.
Wait for that wind to. It's the wind that kills.
Yeah, it is.
Because you get in, and once you're in and get used to it, it's fine. And then you raise your shoulders out. It's like, oh, God,
Can't get out now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, without delving into it too much, you've navigated some personal challenges. How has that shaped the way you handle pressure in business?
Don't know really. Obviously last year I had a bit of a shocking year. My sister passed away very suddenly from a short-term diagnosis of cancer. What I was grateful for is over the last 2 years I'd worked to come off the floor, so I wasn't key to the day-to-day running. I wasn't answering phones and doing market appraisals. We built the team around that, and the team stepped up. So I was in Wales and Hereford and Cheltenham a lot. And I didn't have to worry. So we'd work to empower the team to be able to run the business if any of us had to step out. And they stepped up to the plate for that 4 months. And then they got round to then when my husband sadly passed away unexpectedly. I wasn't out of the business for as long because you can do things locally, and I like to go and sit in the office even if I wasn't doing any work, just to have people around. So for me, I saw the effort and the training that we've put into the team over the last 3 years, that they're all self-sufficient and they can all pick up and do what they need to do in a crisis. So that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. They all seem
Um,
very supportive and professional.
Yeah, I mean, we were employees, and when you're employees, sometimes you work lots, don't get paid lots. We believe in paying our staff a fair wage and good commission for what they do and giving them a nice working environment, and we pay for like their Bupa care and stuff like that, because you can't get a doctor down here or a hospital appointment within the time frame that you need. So we try to look after them in that respect, and then hopefully when the shit hits the fan, but the whole team, everyone, things happen, don't they? And you just,
Yeah.
we've been there for them when they've needed stuff. And kids are always ill, aren't they? We've all got kids
All
of
the
varying
time.
ages, and they pick up stuff, and then someone, either mum or dad's got to be off school, and then they get ill as well, and
Yeah.
that. So we try to all muddle through it. But yeah, the last 12 months, the team have really stepped up, and we knew they could do it anyway, but sometimes they need a shove just to have their own confidence.
Oh, it's so good to hear. And it's so good to hear that a business has that sort of level of support for each other. I mean, we've got it here. We're all together. We all just have that real family bond. So yeah, it's good to hear that there are other businesses.
We don't want people like, if I've seen anyone doing their emails at night, like, why are you doing your emails?
Yeah.
Oh, 'cause I didn't have time. Right, why didn't you have time? Let's assess
Yeah.
what you did during the day that perhaps wasn't, we all like to procrastinate and do the easy thing, don't we, and leave the
Yeah, exactly.
stressful thing till later, but that carries on. So we try and sort of keep on top of workloads and what people have got going on.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people having stressful breakdowns and life.
Not too many
Well,
anyway.
not from work anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got Gary. He's always saying to me, "Oh, mate, you need another phone. Turn your phone off." I'm like, "Oh yeah, but don't know what it is."
But I think people buy people, don't they? That's
Yeah.
why we like working with you guys at Prolux.
Yeah.
When we go out to the networking meetings, you just gravitate to
Yeah, you do.
the people
That last one was great.
Yeah, and sober.
Yeah, for the most part. 5 and drive?
Um,
No,
yeah.
we're not condoning it.
And we tried to have the annual Christmas party that you guys
Oh yeah, I
come
was
to
down
the
there.
office. The
Yep.
landlords come, some of our tenants, contractors. They all bring presents for the toy appeal and food for the food bank. I think
Yeah.
we took, 2 carloads of stuff to the food bank, and the
That's amazing.
Rewind radio guys had to come back twice to take the toys for the toy appeal. So that's what we tried and do at Christmas
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
with the
It
kids.
was nice. I think it was one of the first times I really met everyone down there. And
Yeah, it's
yeah.
great because the staff get to because we invite all the landlords to come. Obviously, not everyone does. So instead of speaking to them on the phone, it gives them an opportunity to have a chat. I think
Yeah.
they're open from like 12, and I think it rolled on till 6. This
Oh,
Yeah, 6 in the morning.
6 p.m. officially.
Yeah, officially.
But yeah, the solicitors come in, the accountants, you guys, and some of our other contractors as well.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
really good. I think face to face makes such a massive difference,
Yeah.
especially over a beer or two.
But yeah, again, it makes everyone realise that people at the other end of the phone are human, and that works both ways.
Yeah, exactly. So if someone is listening who's thinking about starting their own business in property, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learnt so far that they can learn from?
It's great to be good at what you're doing. So you can be a great estate agent, you can be a great gas engineer, you can be a great electrician. Where you trip up is the back end. So you need a good accountant, you need a HR team, you need all the back end stuff sorted so that you can carry on with the day to day, and then build a team that can operate without you as well. Because if you're the sole person responsible and you go, something happens to you, like my husband's business, he was the main gas engineer. So when he passed away, there wasn't anybody to really keep running that business. So it's had to be, we're in the process of being closed down. but he didn't put in the bits behind him to make sure the back end stuff run. So for us, we got a great accountant, a HR lady, because employment law was a nightmare.
What's HR?
We've just had all the new employment stuff come in on the 1st of April, and I don't have to worry about it because lovely Nikki at Beacon has sorted it all out for us.
That's what they like to do, yeah. Maybe what
Yes,
they're
the
good
new
at.
handbook. Thank you so much. So I think it's getting your team around you, whether you're big or small. You're not. I used to like to think I was invincible and can do everything, but I can't. Do your skills and then outsource to someone that can. I wouldn't go fit my own windows. I'd come and get Prolux to do it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say me then. I was like, Christ,
No,
I
no,
wouldn't
not
get me
you.
fitting them. We've got a team for that.
Yeah.
But that's why you have certain people around you to be able to do things. Some people think they can do it all, and you can't.
No.
You need those people who specialise in certain areas that can assist you.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. We live and breathe all the lettings legislation. I think we had a document come out last month where within 30 seconds of the government releasing it, all the alerts that we had set up. So we all knew about it. But there were still people in the industry 3 or 4 weeks later that, oh, is it out yet? And it's like, yes, we've shared it in all the groups. We've put it on Facebook. If you're all busy, like a landlord, it's not their day-to-day job. If you're looking after 3 kids doing the school run, got your own job and doing X, Y, Z, you're going to miss important things like that. And it's like any job now with the rules and regulations coming, I don't think there's anything that doesn't have certain sets of things that they've got to abide by. And the government seem to change it willy-nilly because we haven't got enough to do. So yeah, it's just making sure that you've got time to look after the actual running of the business, not necessarily being on the job.
Yeah, exactly. So we ask everyone this question, which is the title of the podcast. What's the worst that could happen? So in your day-to-day, what is the worst that could happen?
Worse than a chain falling through.
Or legislation changing.
It's the worst. Oh God, I don't want to say it out loud in case something happens.
Getting thrown off a horse and breaking your back. It's pretty bad.
I mean, what's the worst can happen? If I look at what's the worst that can happen to me, I mean, this is set the bar really, really high.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go through the list. What has happened?
I mean, with property, the ceiling could fall in, or that would be just an absolute nightmare. But we've taken calls in the middle of the night where you can just hear the water running in the background. Just tell me where you are. I'm on my way.
Oh,
Oh my God. Yeah, that sounds awful.
If you can hear the water down the phone, it's
bad.
6 bar pressure or hot water main. And in property, there's so much can happen. But yeah, people passing away, which I get a lot of personally. The list is endless. What a question that is.
That gives you
it's pretty
perspective,
open.
though.
Yeah.
That gives you perspective. When we talk about pressures in business, well, actually, doesn't really matter when you compare it with
the staff.
People's lives.
They come down with a white face and go, "Oh God, what's happened?" Or "What have you done?" And they're like, "Oh, how's that? Huh? Is that it? We can sort that out."
Yeah.
Let's sit and talk about it a minute. And things are always fixable, and there's ways to get things.
I think shit happens, doesn't it? It's just how you deal with it. And
yeah,
there's always a way around
shit
things.
happen, but we're just used to getting on doing it.
Yeah.
Good problem solvers.
We are very good. Anyone in property has got to be good problem solvers, whether you're the builder, the architect, the plumber, the window fitter. You've got to have someone that can go, "Oh yeah, I know what to do with that."
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. So is there anything you want to plug whilst you're here?
What do I want to plug? Well, Renters' Rights is coming on the 1st of May. If you don't know what you're doing or what you've got to do between the 1st of May and the 30th of May, you better give us a call. Still put your property on the market if you're thinking of selling. It's going to make no difference if it's now or next week or 6 months' time. If you need to sell. That's about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in again at short notice.
No worries.
I think you're amazing. I love your strength. I think you're very inspiring as a person. And I look forward to seeing
Well,
How you grow again.
You didn't need to get the crying tissues out for this. We're
No,
going to specifically call them
exactly.
crying tissues.
Yeah, the crying tissues, not the other tissues or the sop.
Yeah, hopefully no one's cried from this podcast.
Yeah, no one's cried on this one, so good, successful podcast.
Thank you for coming in.
No worries, thank you.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.
What's the worst that can happen?